Well, welcome to fall spring number 1 this year. It's been a tough winter. The past couple years, winter has been pretty mild in the upper Midwest and Wisconsin area. This year, it's been tough. It has been cold. It has not been welcoming at all. So, we got a chance here, end of February, where finally got some warmth going on. And I decided, well, I looked north and there's a storm heading in up there. So I decided I can't risk that on my days off. So I headed south into Illinois and decided to do a little camping down here. Did my little Google search of campgrounds open in the winter in northern Illinois. And I came across White Pines Forest State Park, not far from the Rock River, just north of Dixon, Illinois. There are actually several campgrounds along the Rock River, so there's several choices there to choose from. And I tell you, for winter camping, this is cheap. Wisconsin hasn't quite got the concept of, hey, off-season, drop the price. Maybe some more people might even venture out. Especially since you don't have water, you don't have bathrooms or running water, you don't have the shower houses. Here, you got a pit toilet right across from my site here. There is a shower house up there, but the sites here, first come, first serve, $10 a night. Well, there's nobody up front to pay. Guy just came by, said the ranger will be by to collect and give you a permit. And he just came by and I said, $10, right? He's like, oh no, shower house is closed. It's only $8. $8 a night? That's practically free, almost. It's cost me a lot more to get here, that's for sure. So this campground, this state park has a lot going on. There are a lot of campsites here. I'm not quite sure where you park in some of these. We'll get into that. But there's a lot of other things going on. There is a lodge, there are cabins, there's even a dinner theater here during the peak season. So there's a lot of things to explore. There's also a little detour I had to make to get up here. There's a couple little spots where there's little fjords where you have to drive through the stream to get here. And it doesn't look like it's flowing that much, but it's closed, so you have to go out and around down a road that Google Maps doesn't even know exists. It's the emergency exit road. And it's not well marked. The entrance to it says the entrance is over there, not here, even though it is right now the entrance. So we're going to take a look at all of that. I'll chapter this thing out because there's a lot to look at here. Several different campgrounds, listings to look at, as well as lots of trails. We'll take a look at the cabins. The photos online of those cabins look actually quite cozy and nice. So it's something worth checking out. The dinner theater looks like it's a family style food served on the tables or buffet and a musical review kind of thing. We won't be able to see that. That's off season right now. So we'll take a look at all of that and really get to exploring this. By the way, my name is Peter. This is Scotty Wandering. And we're checking out an Illinois State Park today. So for winter camping, the Cedar Ridge Family Campground is the section that is open for winter camping. There's a lot of other campgrounds here. We'll look at those. First, I'm going to wander all the way over to show you where the entrance is to the campgrounds if you can't get in the normal main entranceway. You know, another advantage of winter camping, especially down here where it's first come, first serve, or not using the reservation systems or anything like that, is your check-in time is when you show up. I showed up early this morning, no problem. No check-in time. Like Wisconsin State Parks now have a 3 p.m. check-in time. And winter camping, that's dark. You're only an hour or two from darkness. So it kind of blows the whole day and you have to plan for your next day to really be your camping on-site day. Here, first come, first serve. Show up at 9 in the morning, you got the place all day. Spend the night and then decide how much time you want to put in tomorrow. And you're really paying for the day or more. It's a pretty good deal. So I found the general rule of where are Illinois state parks is you find this spot along the farmlands, prairies, whatever, where suddenly you hit a spot where there's deep ravines and it's unfarmable. And those are the places that they make their state parks. And this definitely fits into that category. There are several canyons and, you know, things running through it that make this area unfarmable. Now you'll notice the speed the traffic's going to go past me here makes it almost impossible to catch this entrance. The entrance sign is this little one to get you to the campground area. And it's telling you the entrance is down there. So when you first come from down there and you come in this way, this sign isn't even visible until you've gone past it. But we're gonna come down in here, explore some of these, I guess what as a winter recreation would be, is the cross-country ski trails. Let's see where they take me. Cross-country ski trail really kind of shows what I was talking about not farmable area, but a deep ravine here. The trail actually goes up that way and around. One of the campgrounds is on the other side of the ravine there. We are now down in the general picnic areas of this park. So the main entrance to the park is over there. Campground's over there. This is closed. You see little barricades on the other side. There's a barricade right next to the camera too right now. In Iowa, they'd allow you to drive over that. They have things like this in Iowa too. So this creek runs right through the park. There's another fjord over there, as they call it. Cliff sides over on that side that the creek has carved out. So we'll go check that out. Now to get over there, they got a bridge. A bit warbly, isn't it? Picnic areas. There's a second bridge because there's a second one of these on the other side to another section of picnic area. Now this park, like most public spaces, was carved out and planned out and the roads put in by Civilian Conservation Corps. And normally I'd say the kids or the young men of the Civilian Conservation Corps. But apparently here in this park, it wasn't the kids. The people in the Civilian Conservation Corps that camp here, a lot of them were World War I vets. So they're already in their 40s rather than the kids like 19, 20-year-olds that did most of the work around the country. So you find structures like this wonderful little fireplace shelter. Definitely has that Civilian Conservation Corps look about it. So things to look for as you're wandering the park. So when you come here, see the barriers, can't get through. Here's your sign that tells you you need to go to the southwest corner of the park and use the gate just before the end of the trees. So that's just a sign to tell you you got to go over that way when the fjord's closed, if you want to get to the campground or anywhere else beyond over there. As you're coming in on White Pines Road, I think it is, you'll see this sign. That one you shouldn't miss, pointing you over to the main entrance to a more normal state park sign. Over here though, there's a hill climb club, an outdoor movie theater, drive-in theater, and I think another campground. So if you're looking for a place for an RV, you're probably more friendly over there, because the State Pines Forest State Park is more or less tent friendly. There's no power over here that I can find, but we'll continue to look around. Now as you enter the park, main entrance here, there's this little pull off. This is camp registration over here during on season. This is probably also the point where if they need to send you across to the other entrance, they will turn you around. This area, also plenty of picnic area, more picnic area, and a double-sided fire CCC shelter over there. And as a reminder, we are in Illinois and there's no alcohol in the campgrounds. All right, what have we done so far? Well, first of all, that entrance is down over here that brings you in, not even on the map. Main entrance over here. I'm staying way back there in the Cedar Ridge family campground. I just noticed the falling R there. So we'll give the full tour of those campgrounds. We just wandered through some of this section where the first fjord, second one's over there. But before we get back to the campgrounds, we're going to wander up and over to the lodge area. Well, this is the lodge, and just to cover this is the bird fountain. Anyway, okay, this is the lodge. Dinner theater over on the side, kitchens in that building, gift shop, and check-in for the cabins. It's a lovely little space. These cabins, Adirondack chairs out front of all of them, and this nice open common space. There's much more just grounds over there, playground, old swing set and swing and slide. And in these collection of cabins, they got Wi-Fi. So if you're looking for that, there is a cell tower right across the street from the entrance, so chances are you're going to get decent service here anyway. Now, besides the little cabins out there, the individuals, there are these larger cabins. Now, these are actually 4 units per building, so you're not getting the whole place to yourself. But if you get a group, then you sort of have your group fire pit out front, more communal that way, and have your own individual space at night. If you can see that, they are pretty good about marking these trails. This is the Whispering Pine Trail. It's a half-mile, easy, stay on trail with yellow posts. Just an out and back loop. One thing's for sure, especially in the springtime, fall spring like this, not all trails are equal. Right now, this trail I'm on is a nice, walkable, easy path. Others are a little more of a muddy mix as you walk through. I am very glad I brought my rubber boots with me. Kind of essential when you're hiking in the spring when things have just started to melt. I'm not even sure what trail I'm on now. They didn't have trail maps available. I should have taken a picture of the map, I guess. That would have been the smart thing to do. But I didn't do that, and I got off the yellow trail because it was pure muck. And there's a beautiful woodpecker over here. You're probably not going to see because he's doing a beautiful job of hiding on the back side of the tree. Ooh, let's go that way. Trail, oh, accessible trail. Let's go that way. That is one thing I missed during this slightly off-season camping. Yeah, you don't have crowd noises or anything like that, but you also don't hear the songbirds. They haven't migrated back yet. It's awfully quiet, just me and the geese sometimes. All right, so came down the trail. Hit this nice little platform you can roll up onto. But you can't just keep rolling along if you're in a wheelchair, because now we're into the mucky muck. See where I wind up? Yeah, do not even take a powered wheelchair or any mobility vehicle out off that main path, because this stuff is not the most friendly even to walk in. Really slippery, slidey, sinky. Bring your mucks. So if you're staying at the lodge, it kind of reminds you, hey, take a picture of this. Remember when you were here this year, whatever, last year. They get to slap a 6 on that 5. So with all these trail markers that they have, you know, with a bench on one side and a bench on the other, give information. This one, they just stuck with the format, even though the format makes no sense. Have a seat, put your feet up. Well, this is where the Overlook Trail has taken me. Overlooking, well, fjord that takes you nowhere. So, I have a choice. I can hike. I guess this runs on a bridge. I need to take the stairs down. Access to day use areas. So I thought, okay. It looks pretty muddy. Boy, this feels a lot like the stairs at Matheson State Park too. That's muddy. Well, that's kind of interesting. It seems muddy. It is muddy on top, but it's muddy because of built-up of old leaves on top of pavement. If this had been kept clear, it would be a clear paved path that leads you off over here, just like what's on the other side, but they seem to have stopped clearing the paved path. Makes me wonder what used to be here and where it intended to go. Like, yeah, there could have been a bridge here, but where did it go? What was the intent? Now the geese are telling me to come down here and take a look at something. They're awfully loud about it though. Okay, I get it. I get it. Okay, south edge of the park, there's railroad tracks. I got an old fireplace over there from probably another CCC structure. But over here, I think it's natural. It looks like there would have been a bridge there, but it looks more natural stone. Blocked off to look like somebody built it. It's hard to tell. Hi guys. I'm on the Orange Trail. Saw this shelter sitting on top of the bluff, right above where I was just talking to the geese. Let's see what kind of a viewpoint we get up here. It's a nice spot up here. So this section of the park is listed as a natural area, less maintained than others. Basically, my interpretation is they're rougher trails, not as smoothed out. You know, there may be trip hazards out here. They're just as muddy in spots as other, but that's to be expected in the spring. But they're not completely ignored. Because over here, I have some pretty improved stairs. So they don't just ignore this section completely and make it so you have to rough climb it. They just may not maintain these as often as the other sections. However, even with the lower maintenance, here in February, they've already cleared down trees off the trails. Now, do I want to go that way, across the creek, or figure out where that takes me? Well, according to the orange marker, my trail goes that way. Less muddy than the up climb on the other side coming off the creek. Yay, rubber boots from Costco. Some of the best $15 I've ever spent. this one's a little deeper than some of the others. Well, I'm going to diverge from the trail, which would send me that way. Over that way, taking me to the campground. And hearing my first train coming by the campground. And this puts me into one of the youth campgrounds, group sites. And then up the hill is where my campsite is. So that dumped me out at the Fox Canyon Youth Campground, somewhere over there. The creek just kind of curves all the way around this. It's a whole nother wing of it over here. It's a lot of campground here. A lot of campers can be down here, but they only have the one little pit toilet over here for all of that. There is a sign on the way up the hill that clearly states shower house is not available for youth campground. So you send your kid here, they're gonna come back stinky. All right, it's time to get to the campground reviews. There are two family campgrounds here. We'll get to that one next. But we're gonna start with the one I'm staying in, which is also the one that is available for winter camping. And like I said, it's first come, first serve in the winter. It is reservable throughout the rest of the year during the regular season. And that's the Cedar Ridge Family Campground. So we'll walk through this. I'm going to show you every site. And the advantage of doing this off season is you can see it without all the crowds, without all the people. And I don't have to keep like not pointing a camera in a family's campsite, which I hate doing that. I don't want to be showing kids in my videos if I can avoid it. So it's kind of nice to show you the campgrounds when there's nobody here. All right, so I'm gonna flip you around and we'll get started in order. All right, down at the bottom of the hill, that's that youth group campground I was showing you before. Up here, we got site 1 is on the end here. Site 2 behind that. Site 3 way down the hill. Now, this is all vague site locations. There's no parking areas of any form. You are expected to somehow drive out here and get to your site and park on site. So this is 2. By the way, I'm not a big fan of these fire pits. They're hard to control the fire within, and I just got a warning for this area right now because tomorrow the wind's going to be picking up of a fire danger here in the spring. So be aware of these kind of fire rings or fire pits. They're not very good at controlling the fire. And then 3 way down here, and I have no idea how you're going to get to here with a car. Maybe up through there. Definitely better with something like what they're driving. But this is site 3. All right, continuing down through the campground. That was 1, 2, 3. 4 is this picnic table and fire ring here under that tree. And then 5 over there in that area. 5 is fairly easy to pull into though. That one I wouldn't worry too much about. Now this is an out and back, so as you can see across from 5 is 16, so we'll get to those on the way back. All right, over here we got 6. As you can see, conditions are very soft right now, and if you drive in there, you may trench the yard a bit there. So that's 6 nicely set back. 7 over here, not as good a flat spot to park. All right, coming over this island over here, we have 8 and then 9 down there. A little hard to get to 9. All right, that was 8 and 9. Now there is another road that goes down the hill too. It says optional. I drove down that road and I backed back up because it was pretty muddy at the bottom of that hill and I was a little worried about it. That's 8, 9. I jumped to 12. I don't know where I missed 10 and 11, unless they're over here. Nope, yeah, they're over here. Okay, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. In a circle around this little sort of island area here. 11's not bad if you want to park out here easily, or maybe under the tree. 10 down here under this tree, and a little bit beyond. It's a nice little area. Now I'm not really seeing flat spots. Plenty of good spots for tents, but for vehicles, it's questionable. You can almost drive through there. That might get you back there over to 9 as well. So just, if you're in 10, don't put your tent there because someone may need to drive to 9. Okay, spin it around. Pit toilet. Turn around. And then we're going to go up there to continue the numbering. So I got up to 12. I'm already over here at 25, so it does some funny things. Okay, here's that hill down to optional. Hit 12, coming over. 13 is on the corner here. That's 7 beyond it. So 13's got all the room to do whatever they want. 14 here, and you can come in from either side. This is sort of an island out here. 15 is more this side, and 16 is on the end over here. And that one also has a standing grill as well as the fire pit. And that's all across from bathhouse here, shower house. So and it's 16, 17. Okay, coming back. 17, this has a nice pad. That's something that's rare here is a pad. It maybe have a nice pad. Power, meaning this next to the shower house is the accessible site, especially looking at the shape of the picnic table. So this one is the accessible site. 18 here. Actually a decent parking pad here as well. And got 19 around the corner. This is where the numbers really start to get funky. Okay, coming from the shower house, 17, 18, 19, 20. These are the front ones. And then there's sites in back, which is a separate different numbering system. So 20, up to that picnic table. Got a bit of a gap here to get you into some of the others. Then 21 up front here. These are not exactly your space. It's feeling a little like the way they do it in Michigan too, where you just have space. You figure it out. 22 here. Oh, there's another one over there. I'm officially in 25, which is marked back there. But I guess we have probably 23 over here. Yep. And 24 behind it. So over here, hanging on the edge of the cliff face, I got 23. 24 is in the back and kind of muddy to get there. Let's take a look at that. In the drier time of year, this would be a nice site. Right now, I wouldn't want to try to come back. Lots of flat spot here. This puts you off hanging over the edge. Farm fields over there, which look more pasture. And then just rolling down. Eventually you'll get to the train tracks in the back. Now 25 here that I grabbed is quite large, because I came in there. I could come all the way back here, but watch out for the tree. And all of this is 25. Now a little more challenging, behind 22 here, that's 26. How you get back there? Negotiate with your neighbors. 27 is way back there behind 21. Definitely more tent friendly than these sites. Bring something small to get in there. That's 27. And these are reservable during the regular season. So no, if you get one of these front sites, like 20, this is 20 site, 28 is behind it. And then 29 is over there. And 29 is behind 19. So if you're in 19 over here, leave room for the folks in 29 to get back there. And then go over there, that's just green space, probably septic field. Okay, shower house. Now we're back to 30, 31 is behind it. So that's a tough one to get to. Just take your water back, don't wash here. 32 is this one, lots of room up front. And then 33 will be the last one over here. And you will definitely be woken up if there is a tornado coming to the area, because the siren is right there for the area. That'll get your attention. So 33 sites here in this cluster of campground. Now at this junction here, if the fjords are open, you'd be coming up that way for the main entrance. If not, you're coming in from the back way over there. But we do have a dump station here. It's only closed for the season. And then we're going to go try to figure out how you use that campground, which you obviously cannot access from this road. So I'm going to have to go over to the other side to figure out the ins and outs of that. All right, now we'll look at the Sunny Crest family campground. Okay, I just walked from the sign, which is at the far end of the campground, to the entrance. So I'm going to have to walk this through and then back again, just how the numbering works so it all makes sense to you. There are definitely better areas than others. There are some sections still haven't quite figured out how you're supposed to use them, how you're supposed to get a vehicle anywhere near them. You're not walking here. You're coming in a car, maybe on a bike, but you will need a place to park. And there is no parking area, just a turnaround here. So we're gonna go through, past the barrier for the off season, and walk you through the sites, starting with 35 here. By the way, these have got more of a pit in these squares here. I like those a little better than the open ones, but there's no grate on these for cooking. 36, nice sites. We'll go down, we'll come back because we end at 107, so that gives you an idea. 35 through 107, some are definitely better than others. 37 here. And in one of these, I could find a place to park and sit in a Class B or something and be fine. Plenty of places for tents. 38 here. And 39 next to that under the tree. Bet that is a beautiful tree when it's filled out. Probably gorgeous in the fall too. 40, a little more isolated here between the trees. Fire pit's kind of up front, so you'll nice flat spot back there. There's a whole nother loop. We'll get to that later. 41, some reason to call this an accessible site. And 42, I don't get it. There is a pit toilet over there, but I wouldn't really call those accessible. Beautiful tree though. That is a gorgeous tree. Other than it has the grill instead of a fire pit, and it does have sort of a little defined pad back there, and the tables are set up for accessibility. 43 and 44 over here. I guess you start at 43 here. There's an old Baker pump there that doesn't look like it's active anymore. We're going to continue down this way. We'll come back and then we'll go down into the mystery area down there. Okay, 45 and 46. Leading up to the pit toilet there. Decent sights. Still a little struggle to find, some flat spots to park, but you can probably find enough to put a tent. Beyond that, 47, and then 48 is past that. Now how you're supposed to get to 48, I don't know. Maybe you drive over there, because you can't come in from the far side. 48's nicely isolated, but getting there is tough. So be aware when you're setting up these front sites, that's hard to get to the back. 48, there. 49, similar thing. Don't know how you get here. 50, sort of the same thing going on there. Got 51 here. This one you can get to without too much difficulty. 52 is an accessible site, as they call it, because it is across from the restrooms. And one side looks like it's accessible, not the other. 53. And then 54. Now we're going to play that same game we played in the first campground, where that was 54. 55 is somewhere behind it. Way back there. 55, you can probably get off this other road going down to the dumpster. But 56 over here, I don't know, make friends with the people up front. So if you want to book these as pairs, front to back, that would make a lot of sense. Okay, that's 56. Now behind 53, I got 57. Behind 52, 58's over here under this tree. 59's in the back behind that tree. So 59's behind 51. So you just drive through, I guess. Good luck. Now, here's where things get really interesting. To get to 59, you have to go behind the site. The next row is over this ridge. Like I said, you can't come from the other side. No parking along the road. There's 60, 61. And you got to go through this little gully to get to it. I don't even know if that shows here. But that's in between. Now here's the section that just feels like they're just packing in spaces anywhere they can. 62, 63, I'm behind 57 and things over there. 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. It's really hilly, really rough in here. Right now it's really slippery, so if it's rained, you don't have a chance in here. of not sliding your vehicle around. Like I said, there's just no entrance area that's close. The dumpster is on the end of a road. That's as good as it gets. Then you have to drive up the middle of this to get to sites. Like I said, 50, 65 there, 66 next to the dumpster, 69 over here, and then 70 up over here. Okay, you can drive down the hill behind these bushes where the dumpster is, past 66. So if you're in 66, no, that's a high traffic area. 70's across from that. Figure out where you're going to park in this hillside. 71 next to that. 78's over there. 72. This is not good ground for driving on. There's the sign I started at. 73, 74, 75 is all the way down at the end. And I am sinking right now just walking in this. Cannot imagine what tires would do in this. Because that's why it's not open in the winter at all. So if it has been raining a lot, I would seriously second guess any reservations you have for this area. That's 76 there. Nice site if you can get to it. And like I said, it ends at 75 down here. Now, there might be a way in. We'll take a look. Because right now, it's like there's a post missing there, big enough to get a vehicle through. But it doesn't look intentional. All right, 75 might be able to squeeze between these posts, or those posts that have been knocked down. Wouldn't be easy to get here, and wouldn't be easy to get from here to anything else. So it's kind of an isolated site as far as terrain goes and moving a vehicle through here. Well, that's this weird section. I'm going to go back up to where the dumpster is, go up, and then show you a cluster over behind that patch of woods. All right, 78 was the last of these. Now 78 has the chance of coming in next to the dumpster. Look at this ground. You could come in to 78 this way, but it still may not be firm. Let's go up to the next section. I'll say right now, up to about site 47, those are nice sites. That other section, up to 78, gets a little dicey. 79 over here, not bad. Can definitely work with that. I'm assuming this is 80 on the corner. Yes, 80's on the corner. 81. This looks like it's a usable loop. Again, they're calling that an accessible site. 82 is, not 81. 83 is in the back. So now you got to get past others to get there. 84. Nice big site. It is a bit whoop-de-doo on the ground surface there. 85. 86 would be in the back by 87 over there. So 86, 87, at least where the fire pits are, towards the back. '88 on the other side of the tree over here. That's a nice site, but all of this is a bit of a slope getting into it. There's really no flat spot in that world. All right, other side of that brush is 89, nicely isolated spot. Brush between you and your neighbors. When that fills out, that'll be nice. Fairly flat spot in the middle there. That's a nice one in this cluster. 90. Set back a bit further. 91, easy access up here. You can kind of droops down in, but find something there. 92, set back quite a bit. Very nicely set back. That one kind of looks out into the day use area, but once those trees fill in, you won't be seeing much. 93. Over here, this is all slope. Nothing level about that. Okay, so we came down a loop and loops back up. I just finished with 93, so 94 is here on the corner. So we're going to go down the middle of this and see what happens. All right, so 94 is over here, across from 88. 99, because it goes out and back again, is on that side, so you can easily access from the other side. So this you can get to the other side easily. 95. Looking at it from the back. 96, straight ahead. Hopefully you can see something in this very off-season coloring. 97 over here, across from the pit toilets, under the tree there. We come back, 98. Like I said, you can get to it from this side. It is still very slopey coming in and out. 99. Well, I'm not sure what happened. It was 99, then it was 101. I don't see 100 anywhere. I was looking for 100. So we're going back again. So 100 here. This is easy on and off. You're not climbing, going downhill. 102. Attempt at a flat spot there. Looks like it's had a lot of tent use. And 103 is that nice grassy hill over there. There's still a few more around the corner. From the pit toilet, coming over, big gap. 104 there, so you kind of have all that to play with. 105, coming back up here to the junction. And then that you could be setting a tent way in the back if you want. And you got a few more up there. Big gap, 106, reference point. We're across from 37 and 38 now. Getting back to the entrance here. And then 107 is our last one, which is actually a nice flat one. You will get a lot of traffic driving by, but at least not driving through your site like some of the others. And to give you one last reference here, this is the road along here. We're definitely not pulling in from here to these sites. Like there's 48, 49 over there. And then we get into that whole 60, 70 clump down in the valley over there. You're not getting there from here, unless you find another broken fence like that. Well, there you go. There's my walk around and look at White Pines Forest State Park in Illinois State Park near Dixon and Oregon, Illinois. Gives you a sense of location, which kind of puts me somewhere between Rockford and the Quad Cities. Not actually far off the interstate, but far enough that it isn't even a thought when you're coming by here. Definitely a varied campground experience here, depending on your site. So I'm glad I'm doing a video like this, and hopefully you can decide if some of these sites are worth the hassle of either getting through someone's site or having other people getting through your site to get to their site. Don't be offended if someone walks through your site, because they kind of have to around here. There are sites that you don't have to do that. So hopefully this video will show you which ones of those you can book and not have to worry about it. I like these first come first serve things in the winter because I can walk the site when I get here, because I know there's plenty of space, and decide how firm the ground is. Sometimes places aren't plowed out or anything like that, so it's nice that they don't even try to make you make a reservation before you come here. Normally, Illinois State Parks reservation system, you have to reserve at least 3 days in advance on the system to get the site. After that, I think they are sort of a first come, first serve, but you get what they got left at that point. So keep your thoughts on that when you're coming out to a place like this. You can look to see what was booked, but you can't book it. Plenty of trails to explore, wonderful looking cabins over there, but it's completely isolated. The cabin and the lodge is one part of the park, and the campground is a different part of the park with a pretty big gap between, and not simple trails going between the two. I had a lot of river crossings to go from one side to the other. So plan for that too if you're going to be wandering out here. So thanks for coming along. Get on out there and enjoy these public parks.